Дорогие друзья, снова приветствуем вас. На часах час дня. Мы очень рады, что вы не пьете сейчас чай, не пьете кумыс, не едите бурсаки, а может быть делаете все это, но вместе с тем смотрите нашу прекрасную трансляцию. Снова добро пожаловать на трансляцию из Медиа-Юрты потрясающего, сочного, красивого форума Cyber and Digital Security 2024. Я Евгений Питолин, руководитель оргкомитета. И сегодня мы продолжаем череду интервью с ведущими спикерами от рынка, от государства, от бизнеса. И сейчас у вас будет шанс не только прикоснуться к интересному набору технологий, фактов и практик, но еще и потренировать, что, казалось бы, ваши языковые практики. Потому что следующее наше интервью будет на английском, чтобы у вас не стало неожиданностью, что я сейчас переключусь. And now I switch to English, and I would like to introduce our next guest, Pawel Gatewatcher.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you here, and please welcome to our great environment of cybersecurity of all areas. In the morning, we spoke a lot about a role of a government. We also discussed AI, of course, and we were speaking a lot about security awareness and how to, stimulate people not to spoil and not to, spread their personal data everywhere like we do through all this SMM and stuff. So now it's a nice time, a nice point to speak about more serious things, about CISO approach, and that's actually what I'm going to start with. How do you think, what's the really assurance point of a modern CISO? How, and if it's possible, to have some insurance, some confidence in your infrastructure. Is it possible for today? What's the assurance point of modern cybersecurity CEO?
Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you for welcoming me here in Kazakhstan. It's a great pleasure for Gatewatcher to be here. Regarding your question, it's very important for CISO to understand, as I also spoke today with some colleagues from Kazakhstan, is to understand what tools you have in your infrastructure. Do you have maybe too much tools, and because of the way they are implemented, you actually are getting a bit lost? From our perspective as Gatewatcher, what is very important is to get visibility into corporate network. You cannot think about ensuring security if you don't have visibility on what you are protecting, and also what is the current status of your cybersecurity or of your security in general for the moment. So that's why what we are presenting here, together with our distributor, Elcor company, we are presenting a tool without maybe using fancy abbreviations that allows to monitor the network traffic, but in general the network. And I think through all the discussions I had so far is that customers sometimes have too many tools within the network, too many different tools that overlap. And I think the key element is also visibility, but also proper strategy.
I see, but when you're speaking about some kind of assurance like that and confidence, of course, it's always very important to focus and to keep that focus set on some later stuff. That's it. Can you share with us some kind of top-level guidance of what are areas of the main focus of that cyber security goals for the CISO?
Mm-hmm. So first of all, one point is, as I said, the visibility. Second point, what I observe not only in Kazakhstan but in all the region, many CISOs are focusing a lot on endpoint security, where they forget that not everywhere you can apply endpoint security solutions, so you still have some blind spots. And then using complementary solutions, like in our case it's NDR, network detection and response, is very important. But I think at the end of the day, you need to have a trusted advisor who will give you the agenda and step-by-step, instructions on how to deploy, implement all the important tools in your network.
It's it's funny what you say, trust advisor, but NDR was always meant and actually explained as the center of zero trust policies. So how do you deal with that? So how do you use NDR as a zero trust tool to defend against emerging threats?
Well, we say, or we like to say at Gatewatcher, that network never lies. Okay, so when you speak about zero trust, in some ways you speak about authentication, confirming the user identity, and so on. But you know, cyber threat will not spread around the network without making the traffic, the noise in the corporate infrastructure. So you need to monitor the network traffic. So NDR as a part of zero trust is about knowing what's going on in your network. You know, over my experience, I'm in cybersecurity for more than 15 years, I see the power of analogy, you know, analogy from the real life. So I can say everywhere in Kazakhstan, in the region, you see CCTV, camera monitoring, or how people move in the building.
Not as much as in London, but,
yes, not as much,
yeah,
but still it's important. Now, I always ask CISOs, do you do the same level of security in your digital space? Okay, you have cameras, you record, you follow what is going on. Do you do the same? Do you have the same approach for network security? And then when we speak about zero trust, we should not focus only on this identity aspect, confirming the users and so on, but also being sure that all the traffic in our network is legitimate and we have control over it, and we are aware of it.
Yes, that's a very nice question, as is. If you say about traffic control, we don't have to forget about encrypted traffic. And here, of course, is the case which I think we have to tell our listeners a bit more, because mostly when we ever speak about some solutions like Gatewatcher coming deep into encrypted traffic, people get worried because it's always, they think it's a question of privacy. So how do you deal with it? How do you use JW as an encrypted traffic solution? And how do you analyze this kind of encrypted traffic?
Very good question, and I would say it's a common question when you speak about NDR. Majority of the network traffic is encrypted. That's true. We are now maybe about, on average, 90% of the traffic that is encrypted. Point number one is that Gatewatcher is not decrypting the traffic. So we are not impacting, let's say, the privacy topic at all, okay? Second subject is that you need to understand the nature of cyber threats, and let me refer to cyber kill chain. Cyber kill chain is a good example where you can map the phases of the attack. Not all phases of the attack will be encrypted. I like to say that NDR is like smoke detector in your network. Yeah. So we would like to signal you that something is going on wrongly, okay? So before something will be encrypted, we will still see IP addresses. We offer CTI, cyber threat intelligence, where we have risk level per IPs that we see in your network. Secondly, we speak today about, in general, artificial intelligence. So in Gatewatcher, we implemented several engines that are focusing on machine learning. So we are profiling some traffic in kind of profile behavior type. And we can say, without knowing what is the payload, what is the data, that this activity is suspicious. Okay, so encrypted traffic is not a big problem for us. Secondly, we also include some zero-day detection engines where triggering some exploits, some vulnerabilities in the network do not require that this traffic will be encrypted. And I can tell you, we do a lot of POCs, proof of concept, and during this time, we see activity of bad actors in the network, no matter if 90% of the traffic is encrypted. So it's a kind of myth, okay? And I would strongly encourage people who listen to us to test our product and see if they are really sure that even the malicious traffic is encrypted in their network. But if you don't have visibility, you never know. Okay?
If we're speaking about, I would strongly assure people who are listening to us, in our countries, that's always referred to special services units, Like, listening, yeah. But funny
We're
thing,
officially listening.
yeah, of course, yeah. But funny thing about AI, actually, we spoke about it a lot, like I said, and you also meaning it. How do you think will the use of AI inside the technologies and products, will it somehow impact the modus operandi of the cyber criminals and gangs? So how will they adopt to what we are doing?
Well, every new technology that is coming can be used by good and bad guys. So we can be sure that more and more advanced cyber attacks will appear using the AI, or however you call it, frameworks to make the attack more accurate, I would say. Within our solutions, we are using AI in two different ways. First of all, we are improving our detection engines. As we spoke about encrypted traffic, AI is one of the only ways. When I mean AI, I talk about machine learning. But there is also a second aspect where we use AI within our product. We have more and more data. And sometimes when you want to take some information out of the data, it's much more easier to use, and we use generative AI to query the set of data we have to get out of it some information for us that would help to protect our ecosystem and our infrastructure. So it's very important to provide these tools in good sense within our product. We are very transparent on how we use it, and we explain it, just not to use artificial intelligence, because it's, at the end of the day, it's a big word. We use machine learning, and we use generative AI to play with the data we are storing within our system.
I think it's still a bit of Pandora box using AI, and especially the whole scenery of Hollywood and at least the Terminator franchise tells us that you have to do it very carefully and to leave the switch off button in something nearby.
Yeah, of course, but that's why we are here also to explain that. We don't want to offer black box. We don't want customers to put black box in their network. So it has to be a tool that is giving you some guidance. It's speeding up the operations for SOC, for threat hunters, for red team, and so on. But it cannot be a black box. You need to.
I know that we actually want some black box, but we want a black box with a red button secure on it. So and to press that button, everything goes secure right now with that. Speaking about threat hunting and threat intelligence, actually, how can you improve the quality of threat hunting division, for example, if it's inside a company, and how can you reduce and shorten the speed of IR, incident response, in compared to industry standards?
Okay, so first of all, what is main mission of creating NDR? First of all, we say easy as NDR, easy as Gatewatcher. So we want to make very easy solution to operate. That's point number one. Point number two is the big problem of false positives.
Yes.
Okay, so if you get more false positives, you have more noise. It means also you need to spend more time on analyzing what is false positive. Is it really false positive, or it's some initial signal of the attacker? What we do with Gatewatcher, we introduce what we call multi-vector approach with multiple detection engines. So for example, we are not only AI-based vendor, we have also signatures, we have also 16 malware engines to detect malware within the box, and we also store metadata within the solution. So what is the idea of multi-vector approach? The idea is that when we see alert from one engine, we try to confirm it with another. So it's all about reducing the number of false positives. And when we reduce them, again, it has impact of the work of the team. So they have less work because we do pre-qualification of the alerts that we see from single engine. That's the idea. It's quite unique because we don't rely on single engine, or we don't focus on single methodology of detection. We rather combine them all. And the unique point is that we put this all on premise, so we don't have any engine that it's in the cloud. So you get everything inside our boxes which are deployed around your infrastructure.
That's very interesting what you're saying about 16 engines, but wouldn't it be a conquer point? I mean, there is a common joke and, way of doing nothing between young IT administrators. They install 2 antiviruses on one machine and let them fight. So if you're speaking about 16 engines, first of all, wouldn't it be some kind of nasty machine competition between one another stuff? That's one question. The second is most of the engines, I suppose, are not coming for free. So that's cost for the company. So won't it be the next step cost for the customer to pay for that engines for your technologies?
Yes, so let me start from the end. First of all, these engines are included and they are also included in the price of our product, okay? So there is no, of course...
But that doesn't make it too high or what?
No. We have competitive pricing set for that, and we use 16 malware engines because we know that also depending on the region where our customers operate, some engines are better, some engines are worse.
So you use location, like, for example, if some engine is good and have thousands of customers in Kazakhstan, then you use that engine in the region, you can switch it, that's great.
That's one point, plus we will have also other ones, because attacker might think, okay, we are in Kazakhstan, so let's make a malware that it's not detected by local engines, okay? So that's why we see, it's not our theory, we see after POC that some files were detected. Some vendors that we include in the box say that the file was clean. Second approach, why we have so many malware engines. Sometimes, especially in government, you deal with private data, with sensitive data. We don't want customers to send the documents for scan to some public services, like VirusTotal. We want customers to have a local VirusTotal where you can test this.
I know so much of cases of sending your most precious data, your precious underwear of threats into VirusTotal, and then it created such a shitstorm. Yes.
So that's what we want. We want to localize this stuff.
That's a nice marketing concept, like you're having your own VirusTotal locally. That's a really great concept.
Yes, and it's easy to integrate through REST API, or you can manually upload, or we can extract the files from the network traffic if those are not encrypted. But again, for even local upload, it's bringing a lot of value for our customers.
Well, it's a really great concept. I admire it. So, already, coming to conclusion of our short interview, what would you maybe suggest or advise the Kazakhstan CISOs to move left, right, shift something to improve in their security strategies, or maybe to implement something else from outside? So any advices or maybe approaches which you like to share?
Well, I strongly advise nowadays to review to CISOs what tools they have and how do they map to, let's say, security standards. Good exercise is to look at MITRE framework and to collect what licenses of products you have and how do they cover tactics of attackers and where do you see blind spot. I would say don't rely only on endpoint security, because you can find a lot of content in internet how attackers are trying to exploit modern EDRs, antivirus products and so on. And ask yourself a question. What if my endpoint security will fail? Do I have second stage of detecting the problem inside the network, or I don't have? I would also recommend to talk with our distributor, Elcor. They not only offer Gatewatcher, and they can act as a trusted advisor with good portfolio of products that are complementary to each other. And basically, I strongly recommend to discuss and always question your strategy, if it's the good one or it's still there is place for improvement.
Oh, that's nice. Always question yourself. I think that's going to be a nice motto for somebody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It had been a pleasure. Yeah, just welcome to Kazakhstan, our forum.
Thank you.
Дорогие гости, надеюсь, вам было интересно слушать это интервью. Павел Рыбчик, представитель компании Gatewatcher, на территории Казахстана представляется нашим партнером компания Elcor. Собственно, что хочу сказать, у вас сейчас есть еще немножко времени, чтобы отдохнуть, И ровно через 40 минут мы с вами в 14:00 встретимся в нашем следующем кусочке нашего эфира и изучим еще одну интересную технологию, а какую я вам не скажу. Есть программа форума на сайте cdsforum.kz. Ну и, в общем-то, уверен, что вы все зарегистрировались и с удовольствием смотрите. Поэтому, кто не знает, загляните, будет сюрприз. Кто знает, мы с вами встречаемся через 40 минут, 14:00. И не переключайтесь, оставайтесь с нами в нашей медиа-юрте во время форума Cyber and Digital Security 2024. Спасибо.